Hey guys, I got a question for you. Have you ever found in your life this challenge to finding balance? Is balance seem to be something that is maybe not even achievable in your life? If so, this episode is for you. My name is Ingrid Romero, and this is another episode of Growing Healthy Lives with Dr. Billy Doray.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So you heard my intro. We need to talk about this concept of balance in life, and
it's hard. It's hard for people to find balance.
I kind of came to a conclusion that it's impossible, right? That something you've heard that like you're spinning plates. Well, I'm just determined. I just determined at some point in my life that I'm always going to drop a plate. Every day I'm allowed to drop at least one plate, which means I'm off balance.
Okay.
Technically, but that was just my way of saying there's grace for that, because it's a lot of stress. It's a lot of stress to just keep everything going. And then I think there's a lie out there that says that there's balance that is achievable in your life.
Yeah, some people get out of balance trying to stay in balance. Balance requires a lot of work and a lot of moving and shifting things. And so as a disciple, how do you get rhythms in your life when it comes to spending time with God? Is that where we're going?
Yeah, I think, I've been hearing a lot. It seems to be a catchphrase right now, like the rhythm that we're in, like in rhythms of life. And
a lot of spiritual disciplines, books that you'll read, formation books talk about, hey, finding that rhythm of you and God and creating that rhythm in your life.
But there's never just one rhythm, right? There's no such thing, because I don't know, there's seasons when before I had kids, that it's a very different season than when I have kids, right? Mm-hmm. There's a season when I was married. There was a season when I was divorced. There's a season now when I'm remarried. There's seasons that, don't they demand, like, how does a rhythm play out there?
Yeah,
Help me.
I think you need to recognize the season and assignment that you have. I think a season and assignment create new obstacles in trying to find the balance for your life. So when I was in Southern California, different age, different demands, no kids at first.
Right.
There was a different rhythm I could have in my life with the Lord. And then say you get promoted to management. Your assignment shifted, and your season may have shifted as well, and so you're constantly having to reevaluate. So for creating rhythms in your life, you have to evaluate where your openings are to create rhythms, and then you need to, if there is no openings, then you need to create openings. To have that rhythm with the Lord.
That's interesting.
And mine have always changed based upon my assignments in life and the demand, depending on what my responsibilities are, just in life.
Right. And the priority of those. So I love that you're calling out the assignment. I think that's helpful for those of us that sometimes are like trying to make heads or tails of what's going on, and how do I get my life in order? Mm-hmm. So the assignment, there's, my kids are now out of the house. So my assignment is different as a parent. Right?
Correct.
Right. And so based on the assignment, that's not necessary. And that can then dictate where my time is. I mean, I have more time now than I did when my kids were in elementary school.
Remember what I said in the previous episodes? The older you get, the more rest days are required.
Oh, yay.
Isn't that
We've
interesting?
earned it.
Yeah, but it doesn't
mean...
The
silver hair.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that we go into retirement mode. I heard one guy say, we don't retire, we always refire.
Ooh,
and so I think so if we're talking about rhythms in your walk with God, because that's the rhythm that we're talking about.
Absolutely.
There's rhythms in life. I get that. But, as a disciple, not losing the rhythm with God, I think we got to first see what his assignment is for us for that particular season. And then we need to find openings in our schedule.
Okay.
And my rhythms look sometimes different based upon what my season and my assignment is. For sure.
And then how do you, so let's just talk the first part. How do you create space? What does that look like? If I'm feeling like, how do you know that you're off there? So am I feeling stressed? Am I feeling like just this little bit of overall anxiety because something doesn't feel right and I can't get it all together? So that tells me I need to create an opening.
It could tell you so I'm going to go off of our previous 2 episodes. We talked about creating a workout schedule.
Yep.
Right. And then we talked about the importance of rest. And so do I have these rhythms in my life? Maybe the answer is no. So if it's no, I need to create some type of space in my life with a notepad, a pen, or with your notes on your phone, iPhone, whatever. Right? You need to just sit and just go, okay, what do I prioritize in this life? I prioritize my relationship with God first and foremost. So God, how can I implement my time to spend some type of quality time with you?
Okay.
Whether it's quality or quantity, I would say Sabbath should probably be more quantity, and your workouts need to have quality to it. And quantity and quality is important for the Sabbath, for that day of rest. But I will say I missed the mark, Ingrid. And I would say I missed the mark a lot of times in my life. And so I will go through seasons where it's like, boom, boom, boom. My spiritual disciplines are intact. But then when I'm sometimes running with God and I'm running hard with God doing things, I can start misplacing some of these rhythms in my life, and you start drying up a little bit. It's a slow leak. For me, it's a slow leak, but I start leaking and I'm like, man, I don't feel as full.
Yeah.
And if I get so far out of balance, what I tend to do is I have to have a spiritual reset.
Got it.
There needs to be a reset button that needs to be pushed for me. And I think for all of us listening, I think people need to know when to hit the reset button.
Yeah. I think a lot of things come to mind for me. I think those of us that are in relationships with friends, significant others, I would venture to say that sometimes it's your significant other that should have the authority to tell you, you need to reset. Because I don't always see it first, but my best friend can see it when I'm running on empty sometimes, right? Like someone that is close to me. So I think that could
be, your family can be an indicator.
That you're off. And because sometimes we don't see it right away.
Mom and dad are off right now. Your kids are a better indicator than what you realize if you're a parent, just letting you know if you have young kids or even, sometimes teenage kids, even though teenage kids are wacky in themselves, right? But yes. For me, I have a pretty strong spiritual gauge.
Okay.
I kind of know.
You can tell.
I know in my spirit. I know what I'm capable of. I know what my capacity for God is. And it's continually expanding. I know for me, I need quality time with him. And so for me, I have to hit the reset button and do something completely different than what I do in my rhythms in my life.
Okay. Could that be, so what does that look like? Is that a weekend away? Is like how big of a event is that? Or does it vary?
Yeah, it varies, but I would say once a year I have to get away.
Yeah.
I got to get away from everything and everyone. And I need to go up a mountain and I need to barricade myself in. Sometimes I'll get food, sometimes I'll fast completely. But the goal of it is to draw close to him. Yeah. Sometimes with an agenda, sometimes no agenda. But if I do come with an agenda, I am going to spend the first majority, a block could be a few days, it could be a couple of days with no agenda, just to plumb line my heart and go, God, I so easily drift. Yeah. I drifted from my rhythms. I drifted from spending as quality time in your word. I can't believe I'm a pastor sharing this, but it's true. Every pastor deals with it. You got to fight for those rhythms.
Sure.
And even right now, I'm in a season where I know I need to go up that mountain and I need to hit reset, because this last year has been so demanding on my leadership here at the church world that I've been set to pastor and shepherd. There's so much output, and I got all those assignments for what to do when I hit reset the last time.
Got it.
So now I need to go back up that mountain and go, mission accomplished. Now I need to just sit here and reset with you, not just to get the blueprints for where I'm going, but to get the thermometer for whom I'm doing this with. I need it to be hot with the Lord.
I love that.
Yeah.
You've just said a couple things that I think, might be important and might resonate with some of our listeners. Number one, you can get an assignment from the Lord and you can go about doing that, and it can take everything out of you. So like what I'm getting at is that
if you do it with all your heart,
work
onto me with all your heart, right?
That it can be depleting, and that doesn't always mean you're doing it wrong. It means you might be exactly in the right space, but it's time for a reset and a reignite and because I think there's a tendency, newer believers like less experience, let's put it that way. As we're learning how to be a disciple, sometimes there's a feeling like if it feels out of balance or if it feels out of whack a little bit, then I may not have heard God right. But I know that there are stories in the Bible, I think Mark 4, where he tells the disciples to get in the boat, we're going to the other side, and they go right into a storm. But he said, we're going to the other side. So we're going to get to the other side, but there's a process to go through that is sometimes hard and trying and depleting. And that doesn't mean in this season that you're doing anything wrong. And this is a little off of what we're talking about, but you said something that I think is so important for folks that are trying to pursue God and sometimes feel like we're missing because it feels like the wind is against us in this season.
Yeah. Did Jesus tell his disciples in Mark 4, hey, we're going to cross over to the other side, but I want you to know in advance there's going to be a crazy, wicked storm that's coming our way, but we're going to get through it. Does he say that? No. He does not give you any indication that the storm is coming. But Jesus says, we're going to keep moving forward. One of the things with me where maybe I'm built different. I don't know. I have no idea. Some of the most fulfilling times I have in my life is when I know I poured everything out.
Yeah.
And when I was doing my doctorate in ministry in the early years, I would do all-nighters and I just pumped out dozens of pages long and did all this research, worked all night, 7:00 in the morning, did it for 14 hours. And I was driving home and I felt the most fulfilled in my life. There is something of an energizing that gets when you know that you're doing the Lord's work versus a depleting. Now, there are times where I am depleted in doing the Lord's work, but I just know I follow that thermometer of my first love. Is my first love thermometer hot or is it low? And I feel like maybe everybody can, if you're trying to get balance in your life, I would say look at your thermometer in your love for the Lord being burning hot way up here or ice cold down here. Where are you at on the thermometer? Because where you're at in the thermometer is going to dictate your balance. If you're down here on the thermometer, you're out of balance. If you're up here and you're doing a ton of things for the Lord, but you're filled and you're fueled up, you're probably in the balance, but it's in a different, other people might say you're out of balance.
Yeah.
Some people say I'm out of balance because I'm just plowing away, moving forward. Whoa, slow down. I'm like, no. God's telling me to put my foot on the gas. You're going to burn out. I know the thermometer in my life. And I know when I'm getting to that place, and that's where I need to go hit reset, get my thermometer up, and just say, God, this is those next steps we're supposed to take. So finding balance is finding your heart right with God.
Yeah.
For me, it's a reset. Once a year, I go up the mountain. I spend quality time with the Lord. I get the blueprints for, all the teaching series throughout the year or where I sense he wants to take the church. And then I try to implement that and I do my check-ins with the Lord.
Love it.
So now every day it feels like, Lord, this is what we talked about.
Yeah.
Okay, am I doing this with you? Or am I doing this in my own strength, in my own flesh? Or am I doing this with your presence being with me and in me and me doing this with you?
One of my girlfriends calls that kingdom capacity. So when you're really connected with the Holy Spirit, with God, in what he's called you to do, there's a kingdom capacity that is not with you any other time. It's when you're under the blessing, kingdom capacity can fill you to do more than you could ever think is possible. And to the outside world, it looks like you're overdoing it, but it's not even in your strength, it's in his.
Yeah.
So you don't burn out. But I love that kingdom capacity, partnering with God. Like I'm partnering with God. When I partner with God, you can't limit what's possible.
Yeah. And here's some warning signs to this,
Yeah.
because we can go to extremes on everything. Is your family saying that you're out of balance right now? Okay, that's an indicator saying, hey, I care about you. I don't see you anymore.
Yeah.
Well, something's out of balance right there. So it's like some people get so excited doing the Lord's work that they neglect their family in the process. Or they short circuit any quality time because they're getting so fulfilled doing the Lord's work.
Sure.
And so there's that. So there's relational balance, there's spiritual balance, there's purpose balance in your life. But there's going to be times where you're going to emphasize and lean on one more than the other with everything. There's going to be seasons in your life where I'm going to focus more in on my marriage, more in on my kids, more in on my finances, more in on my health, more in on my spiritual awareness of where I'm going for the direction of my life. We press into certain areas.
Sure.
And in discipleship, we talk about that with our, everybody has this wheel of life. And so it goes back to the wheel of life. But there's a thermometer in the center hub for your whole wheel of life. And that is your relationship with God. So as a disciple, having that rhythm, finding the rhythm with God, for me, it's a spiritual reset. And then it's like, how do I spend time with you daily?
Yeah.
And then how do I honor that Sabbath? So really, it's funny because I see this episode, Ingrid, as being a bridge to the last two. So 2 episodes ago, we talked about spiritual workout plan.
Yes.
Right? And training yourself. Some people go into strict training. And then we talked about Sabbath rest. And how are we doing on that? Well, what are the rhythms of your life look
Beautiful.
like that implement these 2 things? Well, it's horrible. Well, I need a reset. Honey, watch the kids. Let's plan this out because I don't want to create more stress at the house if there's already stress. I'm going to go on a little weekend getaway and I'm going to go up to a cabin. Or I'm just going to go walk the beach. I just need extended time at least once a year to reset the rhythms of my life, to evaluate my workout plans with God, and how can I implement Sabbath.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a great blueprint, if you will. And I think that what's important about that is to recognize that there's a structure of the blueprint, but you've already said your reset looks different every year. So when we talk about rhythms, right, there's a consistency in there. I call it a tent pole. Like there are just certain things. So what you're saying, like one of the tent poles to your reset is that you go away. There's nobody around. Sometimes you fast, sometimes you don't. That can be different, right? So the tent poles are the things that don't change, right? The just intentionality and, the obsession with pursuing, hearing from God. That can look different every year, of course.
Yeah.
Right? Because we never want to say God only shows up in a certain way when I do that. But that pursuit of him is a tent pole. Like I'm gonna go do this, and maybe it's one day, maybe it's 2 days. That can change too, right? But there are certain things that don't change, which is I'm sure that there's no phone. There's it's just you and Jesus.
Yeah, 5 days is the sweet spot for me.
Nice.
Because day number 3, I'm like, now I'm dialed in.
Yeah.
I got my heart back.
Because you got to
right
detox first, you
got to you got to detox all the distractions. You're like, oh God, what am I going to do up here? I'm going to encounter, you want this fresh encounter on the first hour when you're away. And a lot of times, no, you're waiting on the Lord. You're just open-handed. He's digging some stuff out. He's,
Yeah.
hey, let's work on this area. Or you're just reading the Bible and you're just waiting for the moment with the Lord. So usually for me, it takes about 2 days, and then 3 days, I'm like, all right, I'm in line with you, God. And your soul feels like it's in a receiving mode, and just, I don't know, my antennas are up more.
Yeah.
I'm more sensitive now. But it doesn't happen usually like the first hour, second hour. I'm talking about the reset times.
Yeah, the reset. Because the other, and thank you for sharing that, because I think it's just important to have color and variability to what that can look like. I also want to talk about daily rhythms, though, like just daily rhythms, tent poles in your life. Like, to know me, I'll share a little bit about me. To know me is to know that there's a couple things I have to have every morning. And in the midst of my life, I've moved a lot, sometimes just across town, whatever the case may be. But there are two things that will always happen the morning after I move. I will have already set a space and place for me, my Bible, my dog, and my coffee. The quiet space.
Because all dogs go to heaven, right?
They do, especially mine. But like, I can't, that is a rhythm in my life that is so important to like how I address my day, that it's the first thing that has to happen for me, like it's when I've moved, right? So that's a rhythm for me. That is
the first day after you move.
First day after I move, like, and so like before I set up anything else in the house, I have to have the coffee maker set up.
Interesting.
But I have to know where I'm going to do my quiet time when I wake up tomorrow morning after I moved into a house. Like, I have to have that. And so that is something that has just been, so it's baked into my DNA at this point. That's a daily rhythm. There are other daily rhythms, but there are certain ones that I just can't live without. Now, if I travel and this and that, obviously, like I can flex a little bit, but when I'm home, that's what it is. What do you say or think about the daily rhythms and how we develop those? Because I don't want to necessarily say there has to be this rigidity to it. Some people may like that more. Some people may flex a little bit and have it go. Like, there isn't necessarily this is how it has to be. But how do we establish daily rhythms? Yeah.
So again, how do you establish daily rhythms is what are the necessities that your soul needs. So I need to spend some time with the Lord.
Sure.
Now, what does that look like? Sometimes you don't know what that looks like until you go away. And I'm big into this. Get away for like 2 days, 3 days. Find a place where you can just, I can invite the presence of the Lord in here. This is a place I can connect with God. It could be a beach, wherever. It could be a park. Maybe you don't even have to leave your house, but there's a neighborhood. There's just somewhere where you can go. And you begin to ask, Lord, this is my life. You know my schedule. It's hard to answer that question, Ingrid, not because there's not a right answer, but because everybody's schedules, demand,
so
season, and age is something different. How I answer that question in my 20s is different than how I answer it in my 30s and 40s. So I would say, what are the non-negotiables in your life, right? So for me, no matter what, non-negotiable, wake up, my feet don't hit the floor first, my face hits the floor first. It goes knees, then face. I do face planters right when I wake up. I honor the Lord with that day, okay? And then there are times in my life where it's like, nope, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the Word. But then there's seasons in my life, depending on where my kids are at, I will go to the gym and I will exercise early in the morning with my ear pods on and I worship. And then I go right into the office and I open up the Word. And then I start dialoguing with the Lord and I start continuing on my day of worship. There are other seasons in my life where it's like face first, shower, then before I leave, I open up the Word of God and I spend quality time with the Lord before I ever even do anything. And then there's other seasons where I don't do that at all. I go into a rhythm of I wake up, I go outside, and I start doing prayer walks.
Yeah.
Just prayer walks. I've been in all of those seasons with all different rhythms, depending on where I'm at in my schedule and the demand and the assignment for my life, the season for my life, kids, how old are those kids? Where's my wife in this picture? Has her job changed? Has my responsibilities changed?
Right.
So here's the balancing act, right?
That's exactly
30s,
it.
it was over here. 40s, it's over here. 50s, I'm not 50 yet. I'm not 50 yet.
Oh my
But
gosh. Do you have to
over here,
rub that in?
Things are like this, right? Oh, I'm in school now. Oh, what does my time with God look like over here now? So your whole life is this. God, how am I? Okay, I'm going to do this new spiritual exercise for a good 13 weeks. Oh, that shifted. Now I got to wake up and take the kids to school during the hour I was going to spend time with God. And my wife wants me to do shopping afterward.
Yeah.
Oh, it shifted it again. So this is why getting away once a year, hitting reset, or finding that time once a year where you get out a paper and go, all right, Lord, where did I hit the mark this year? Where did I miss the mark with you? What do I need to repent from? How do I need to cleanse my heart? How do I get this ego out of my heart, pride out of my heart, just the things of this world out of my heart, where I can just have a pure heart before you, where you dictate my schedule for this next season? What does it look like for me in 2026?
Right.
And what it looks like for me in 2026 will be a lot different than what it looked like for me in 2022, looking back and looking ahead in the year 2032.
Right.
It can be different. I used to spend hours and hours and hours on my face with God. Mm-hmm. Age 19, 20. Mm-hmm. Hours. Beautiful time. I know my capacity.
Right.
Then there were times where it's like, oh God, I can only get I feel like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Max. I got work calling me, school calling me, assignments calling me. I'm trying to, establish this relationship, that ministry, and I got business over here. It changes. And so God is continually working. So the goal is not to beat yourself up. You're always going to be a little bit out of balance, because your balance, it takes strength to just balance.
Yeah.
But it's inviting God into your schedule and making room for him to grow you.
And to change it, right? So
Sorry for preaching.
Oh, no.
Preach.
There was so much there. I'm pretty sure you got something out of that, because I did, for me, that I can take home from here. I want to say that, so for me, yes, I'm up in the morning, the dog, the coffee, the quiet space. But what my quiet time looks like every day, to your point, has changed through the years. Sometimes it's just Bible reading. Sometimes it's like, you know what? I need my journal. I just need to be talking to Jesus right now. I'm a big journaler. I've journaled for years and years. And so sometimes it's that.
Yeah,
sometimes it's,
good.
So what I do first in that can vary all the time, but the essence is there. And what I also love about what you said is an encouragement to me and to everyone listening, is that inviting God into it, because he will change it as it's kind of like we're walking with him. And sometimes, I feel like it's a small game of hide and seek a little bit. Like he moved. I'm like, where'd he go? And he wants me to explore a slightly different way, a different way to connect with him. So that it's not always the same, because I think there's danger when we've kept the same routine for too long, because we then believe it's formulaic in how we connect to God.
Yeah. In fact, I'm glad he shifts it up, because then it just becomes a regular routine and you become robotic. Well, I just do my devotions because this is what I always do. And I'm not even connecting with God anymore. I'm just hurry up and doing it and start my day. And then later on in the day, I forgot what I even spent time with God reading the day before. Right. And so I think inviting him in, creating space for him to move in your life, and honoring him every single day of your life, and your world needs to revolve around him.
So good.
And so in order for that to happen, we have to lay everything at his feet.
Yeah.
And that's why I start my day with face planners. I just lay everything at his feet and just go, God, here we go. I'm declaring you Lord over everything today. Help my heart, my intent to follow you. And I don't know if you'll ever feel like you found that right balance your entire life of Christianity. I personally don't think it's true. I think there's going to be times where you're like, oh, I feel really good in this rhythm. And then I think things change, seasons change. The storm is coming. Now, what does your rhythm look like?
Right.
Oh, well, now it looks like I need to spend more time with God. Oh, more time with God. Okay. More time with God. So it just really depends where
but
you're
that's
at.
it. That's why it's a relationship. At the end of the day, it's a relationship. And so there isn't a relationship that any of us have.
You need God to feed your soul.
Yeah.
So
good.
Again, finding the rhythms, how to put out your current workout schedule with the Lord, and how to find that day of rest with the Lord. The rhythms is the bridge.
Yeah. It's so good. Thanks, Billy.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to hit reset sometimes.
We have to hit reset. Well, I hope you were as encouraged as I was through this, that the rhythms in our life, they ebb and flow. And so finding balance isn't the goal. Connecting with God is, right? And just listening and finding him in the ebb and the flow of your life.
And keeping the thermometer hot.
Amen. I love it.
Know where your thermometer is with God, your spirit, man.
That's great. Sure. That's great. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Growing Healthy Lives. This is the place where real discipleship brings about true transformation. I look forward to seeing you next time. If this was in any way encouraging to you, would you subscribe? Would you share? It means the world to us, okay? And one more thing, if you're ever in the Sacramento area and you want to listen to Billy live, his church is Radiant Church in Orangevale, California. And we would love to see you here some Sunday. Services are at 9 and 11, or you can catch him online on YouTube. Thanks again for joining us.